Good morning and welcome to the Breakfast Rundown with me, Zulfick Farzan. This is a program where we bring you all the latest stories happening here at home and across the world. Now, before we shift our attention to Sri Lanka, we must talk about what's happening over in the Middle East, especially after what happened during this weekend when the United States of America launched a surprise attack on three facilities operated by the Islamic Republic of Iran within Iranian territory. Now, on the latest development, the Israeli Defense Force says a new wave of Iranian missiles have been launched towards Israel. The military has instructed the public to seek shelter and that the defense systems were in operation. Now, earlier state-affiliated Iranian outlet Noor News reported that Iran's air defense system was intercepting quote-unquote hostile targets over the capital city of Tehran. Now, something that everyone's been watching with the developments in the Middle East is what's going to happen to the oil prices. Now, according to a report on CNN this morning, oil prices surged late on Sunday in Wall Street's first reaction to the United States strikes on three Iranian nuclear facilities on Saturday evening, a major escalation of the Iran-Israel conflict. Now, U.S. oil futures jumped 3.6% to about $76 per barrel, while Brent futures, the global benchmark for oil prices, increased 3.2%, hitting $74.59 US per barrel. U.S. stock futures fell in response to the attacks as well. Dow futures dropped 250 points or 0.6%. S&P 500 futures fell 0.6% again, while Nasdaq futures tumbled to 0.7%. The US dollar, however, rose 0.3%, an encouraging sign after America's currency had tumbled after the Trump administration put in place historic tariffs on foreign imports. Now, at the same time, the dollar, while referred to as the world's reserve currency, tends to rally in times of global unease and conflict, but some market observers questioned whether that would happen again under Trump's America First policies. Now, sticking with the Middle East, the Trump administration on Sunday has signaled a willingness to renew talks with Iran and to avoid a prolonged war. Now, meanwhile, Iran's UN ambassador Amir Said Iravani had told the emergency meeting at the United Nations Security Council that, quote, Iran had repeatedly warned the warmongering US regime to refrain from stumbling into this quagmire, unquote. He said that as Iran's foreign minister held talks this week with several European counterparts, quote, the United States decided to destroy that diplomacy, unquote. At the same time, Iran's Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has promised that the punishment will continue against Israel in his first statement on social media after the US joined the Israeli attacks on Iran. Now, at the same time, the Washington-based human rights activists offered the figures of the fatalities covering the entire of Iran. It said that of those dead, it identified 380 civilians and 253 security forces personnel being killed. Now, human rights activists, which also provided detailed casualties during the 2022 protest over the death of Mahsa Amini, cross-checks local reports in the Islamic Republic against a network of sources it has developed in the country. Now, Iran has not been offering regular death tolls during the conflict and has minimized casualties in the past. On Saturday, Iran's health ministry said that some 400 Iranians had been killed and another 3,056 wounded in the Israeli attacks. Now, what about the Sri Lankans who are living and working in Israel? Now, the Sri Lankan embassy in Israel has announced the commencement of registration for Sri Lankan nationals seeking to return home under a special free air travel arrangement provided by the government of India. Ambassador Nimal Bandara stated that the registration process will open for only 2 days, today and tomorrow. This initiative is aimed at assisting Sri Lankans currently residing in areas affected by ongoing regional tensions. Now, as part of the arrangement, the Indian government has agreed to allocate a limited number of seats on flights operating from Amman in Jordan to New Delhi in India. Now, in addition, free ground transportation will be provided from Tel Aviv to Amman for those registered to travel. Ambassador Nimal Bandara has confirmed that no charges will be applied for the Amman-New Delhi flight. However, passengers will be required to purchase their own tickets for the final leg of the journey from New Delhi to Sri Lanka. The Sri Lankan embassies in the respective countries will coordinate all travel and logistical arrangements to ensure a smooth and safe repatriation process. Meanwhile, the Sri Lankan embassy in Israel has issued a renewed advisory urging all Sri Lankans in the country to strictly adhere to the safety guidelines issued to protect themselves from potential attacks. Ambassador Bandara emphasized the importance of following these instructions diligently to ensure personal safety. Now, human rights is something that the entire world is talking about. Now, Sri Lanka also is facing a scrutiny at the Human Rights Council in Geneva over several resolutions that were passed. And in related news, the United Nations Human Rights Commissioner, or the High Commissioner for Human Rights, Volker Turk, will arrive in Sri Lanka today for an official visit, marking the first such visit by a UN rights chief since February 2016. According to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Turk will remain in the country until June 26. During his stay, he is expected to meet with several high-level officials in the country, including the President and the Prime Minister. As part of his visit, Volker Turk will travel to Kandy, Jaffna and Trincomalee as well. Now, the Foreign Ministry noted that this visit follows an invitation extended by Foreign Minister Wujda Herat during a meeting in Geneva last year. Now, another interesting story here in Sri Lanka surrounding the suspended Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Tennakone. The Special Investigatory Committee appointed to probe allegations of abuse of authority by Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Tennakone is scheduled to convene today at 9:30 a.m. The committee has summoned witnesses listed in the affidavit submitted by Deshabandhu Tennakone for testimony. Over the course of the next 3 days, from Monday through Wednesday, the committee is expected to hear statements from 15 witnesses. Following this round of testimonies, the committee will reconvene on Thursday, 26th at 2 p.m. to continue with its usual proceedings. Now, the inquiry is led by Supreme Court Justice P.P. Sirisena, with Justice W.N.P. Iddola and National Police Chief Chairman Ladith Ekanayakas serving as committee members. To date, 28 witnesses have testified in connection with the complaint filed against Deshabandhu Tennakone in Parliament. Now, another interesting story for vehicle owners who are still waiting to get their official license plate onto their new vehicles. The Department of Motor Traffic has initiated a fresh procurement process to select a new company for vehicle license plate printing. This is according to Commissioner General of Motor Traffic, Kamal Amarasinghe. Amarasinghe stated that 15 companies have submitted proposals for consideration. A technical evaluation committee will assess the samples provided by these companies to determine their suitability. The final selection of these companies is expected to take place in August this year. Now, the Commissioner General of Motor Traffic, Amarasinghe, further revealed that since 1st of May, the disruption in license plate printing has resulted in a backlog of approximately 15,000 vehicles awaiting number plates. He also confirmed that the Inspector General of Police, or the Acting Inspector General of Police, all district secretaries and chief secretaries have been officially informed about the delay in license plate issuance. Now we move on to another important story. This is relating to Sri Lanka's prison system. Now, you might recall that over the past few weeks, we at Newsfirst have been constantly reporting on how the presidential pardon had been misused to release inmates who were not originally in the list entitled for a pardon. Now, investigations by the Criminal Investigations Department also uncovered that over 200 such inmates have been released during special pardon processes for Christmas, the New Year and then Vesak this year. Now, this all came about following the expose that a convict who was held at the Anuradhapura prison was apparently released under such an abuse of the presidential pardon. Now, the Department of Prisons has said that all prison commissioners and superintendents across the country have been summoned to Colombo today for a special discussion chaired by the Minister of Justice. The meeting is scheduled to take place this morning at the Ministry of Justice and will focus on future operational matters related to the prison system. Now, according to the Prisons Department, all commissioners and superintendents have been officially informed to attend this session. Now, it will be interesting to see what kind of decisions will be reached in order to mitigate such situations and prevent such incidents from taking place again in Sri Lanka. Now, over the past few days, there have been several instances of heavy rains affecting many areas. Now, the Met Department says that showers will occur at times in the Sabaragamuwa province and in Kandy and the Nuwara Eliya districts. Now, several spells of showers will occur in the western and northwestern provinces and in the Galle and Madura districts. The Met Department is also saying that showers or thunder showers may occur at times in the Uva province as well as in Ampara in the east and also in the Batticaloa district. Now, according to the Met Department, fairly strong winds about 30 to 40 kilometers per hour can be expected on the western slopes of the Central Hills and in the northern, north central, southern and northwestern provinces as well as in the Trincomalee district. As usual, the general public is urged to take necessary precautions to prevent lightning-related accidents. And with that, we bring an end to this morning's edition of the Breakfast Rundown with me, Zulfick Farzan. But if you want to keep yourself updated with all what's happening across the world and here at home, follow us on our social media handles on Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, as well as for YouTube. You can always go onto our YouTube channel at newsfirst.english and also subscribe to our Newsfirst WhatsApp channel and WhatsApp groups so you don't miss anything that's happening here in Sri Lanka and across the world. Until then, take care and stay safe.